Hey guys, Merry Christmas Eve. It's actually just Christmas Eve when I'm filming this because I don't do any of my wrapping until the very end of the season. Partly because I have to show you guys stuff that I buy and the gift guides have to be assembled before I can start wrapping. And then also just because, I don't know, I just always have waited even before I was on YouTube. So I just kind of threw you under the bus and used you as an excuse, but I always just wrap at the end of the season. So I thought I would do what I did last year and wrap up my holiday content with a wrap and chat with me video. A lot of you guys have asked what I got John for Christmas. So I'm gonna show you what's in his stocking as I wrap it. And then I got him a couple of super lame under the tree gifts. I just was not on my A game with shopping this year. So anyway, if you guys have some wrapping to do, go ahead and grab your wrapping paper and your ribbon and your scissors and go find your tape. It's probably under a couch somewhere. Heads up if you've lost it like I do all the time. It's where I usually find it. And meet me back here and we're just gonna chat for like 20 minutes or so. All right, so John actually just took the kids out of the house. And when you see my vlog on Monday, then you'll know where they went. I'm actually filming a vlog today, so it's kind of weird to be filming two things today. But I'm taking this moment as an opportunity to wrap his stuff and also to see what I've gotten for him. So like I said, it's super lame this year because we said just stockings, and that's what I anticipated because our trip is like our gift to each other plus the 750,000 house projects we had done this year. And so I really anticipated that we weren't doing anything under the tree for each other, and then stuff started arriving to his name and I was like, he did it again where he didn't follow our rules. So I kind of scrambled and came up with a couple of little things at the end, but I followed the rules. My heart also wasn't super into the gift giving this year. It's just been weird. It's been a weird year, I know, for everyone. And I just, not in like a sad way or a discouraged way, but I just wasn't like thinking of adult gifts like my dad, my mom, my brother and sister-in-law, like extended family, my father-in-law. I couldn't pull it together this year. So everybody's like just getting stuff this year. Not a lot of it's very intentional, which I kind of hate doing, but I also just, it is what it is. So I'll show you the few things that are not getting wrapped that are going in his stocking. For those of you who give me heck on Instagram, I do wrap stockings. So yes, leave me alone. I got him Lily's chocolate. That will not be wrapped. He likes peanut butter cups. I also got him two different types of Dots pretzels. So I got him the regular Dots and then the Southwestern seasoned Dots. I do believe they started selling these at Target recently, but the only place that I found them in town is at our hardware store, which if you guys know me, I don't go into the hardware store, but it has a post office inside of it now, and because of my woman-owned small business giveaways this month, I was in that post office a lot, therefore I was in the hardware store a lot, therefore I was around Dots pretzels a lot. So thank you guys for that. So those are not getting wrapped, and yeah, those are the only things that are not getting wrapped. So I'm gonna start wrapping a couple of things here and I'll show you what those are. So I got him a new toothbrush. I got this Oral-B Click manual toothbrush. It's got a replacement head as well as a magnetic brush holder. So I got the kids' toothbrushes and I thought it'd be funny if I got him one as well. And then I actually got myself one too, which was a lot of the way that I did a lot of my shopping this year was like one for you and one for me. I don't know why, I'm not usually like that, but this year I just did that. So I got him that, and like I said, I got one for myself as well. I'll get this one wrapped up. This has been like even outside of gift giving, just a strange Christmas. Like my heart can hardly believe that it's the 23rd right now, 24th when you're watching this. And it's not to say it's like a bad thing. Like I'm not sad. I feel unprepared, but I'm very prepared, if that makes any sense. Like I think because the season is usually marked by a lot of chaos, and because it wasn't this year for a couple of reasons, I just feel confused. Like, so we did the Slow and Sacred Advent this year and just really focused in on being mindful of what we were saying yes to, and that was really good for us. But then outside of that, even just obviously because of the pandemic and all that, a lot of things that normally happen just didn't happen this year. And so that also has made me feel weird. Like, I can't believe it's already the end of December because we didn't have our parade and we didn't go to the nativity and we didn't do this party or the work party or those things. And so it's just like, what is happening? So in some ways, like, I'm super, super grateful for the slow season this year. 100%. I loved it so much, but it's also thrown me off. But that's actually this whole year in general has done that, because I mean, part of me still thinks it should be Easter right now because we didn't even do that, or summer holidays. So just kind of this year in general has been weird, with not having those typical milestones. And I guess I didn't realize that those were so pivotal in my life, like as far as marking seasons and traditions. So it's been strange. So yeah, that's been super weird, and I don't remember why I started talking about that, but regardless. Okay, so the next thing that I'm wrapping here is the lemon whipped honey from Savannah Bee Company. We really love Savannah, and we've gone to their tasting room a couple of times when we're up there, and he really likes their whipped honey, so I actually bought 3 of them. So the first one I'm wrapping is the lemon one, and I'll show you the others. I was a little concerned with their shipping, but they did get it here on time, so I'm grateful for that. Anywho, so yeah, so speaking of tradition, you guys will have to let me know in the comments down below as I chat here if you have any thoughts about what I'm saying, or if you echo my sentiments here. But because of the slow season, the one I've noticed my oldest child has been, it's been interesting walking her through this season. So I had already started to slow down on some things, some traditions that we established with her when she was younger, like certain books we would read on certain days. Like, we have a book called The Night Before Christmas. My kids let a couple of flies in the house, so if you see those, don't mind me. But she has, like, her whole life has been built on the chaos of tradition, not the joy of tradition, if that makes sense. She was, you know, when John worked, let's open this, it's gonna be loud. All right, the next 2, as I throw them, I also got him the chocolate whipped honey and the cinnamon whipped honey as well. So he likes to put this on his toast. So anyway, I was saying her life has been marked by the chaos of tradition, because when she was really little, and then all throughout her life up until 3 years ago now, John worked very, very hectic schedule, specifically around the holidays, and we wouldn't see him for days on end. And so my coping skill, right or wrong, I still don't really know. Some ways I miss that season because we had established certain traditions, and in some ways I'm like, what was I thinking? That wasn't a healthy way to do things. But the way that I coped with the schedule was just by doing everything up. So many traditions, so much Christmas, so much fun. Partly because I knew my kids were sad and missed their dad, and partly because I needed to make it through very, very long days while homeschooling and being alone, until he would get home at like 11 or 12 typically, starting from about the week before Thanksgiving through New Year's. And so I would try to like switch gears and go from like, okay, we'd wake up, we would do school, and then I would have like a little break in the afternoon. I remember always sending them outside for a couple of hours in the early afternoon, and I would like have a pep talk with myself, pull myself together, and we would do something fun in the evening. So if that was like building gingerbread houses, or all these themed movie nights, and all of these traditions, and all these shopping traditions, and we're gonna shop for this person, and we would make it like a whole night where we went out and shopped for grandma, and then a whole nother night when we went out and shopped for daddy, and like, it was so much. And then I would repeat those things every single year. And she is now at the point where she doesn't know Christmas without the crazy, because that's how she was raised. And also is sad for my younger ones, like, well, specifically for Annabeth, that we're not reading these books and watching these movies and doing these things. And I'm just trying to explain to her that, you know, Annie's getting a little bit of a different experience than you got, and that's okay. It's not wrong, it's just different. And so we were at our Christmas choir practice last night for the kids, and tonight we're going to my father-in-law's house to celebrate Christmas. And she was like, we're sitting there, and I'm just like soaking it in, because my heart has been, like I said, focused on just enjoying the moments with my kids this season. And she leans over and she was all flustered, and she was like, Mommy, tomorrow we're going to Papa's for Christmas. And I was like, yeah, it's so exciting, like everyone's looking forward to it. And she's like, well, we have to bring the night before Christmas to his house, because we have to read it to Annie there, because she'll fall asleep on the way home. I was like, oh honey, I don't think we're gonna read the night before Christmas this year. And she was like, but we have to. And I was like, no, we don't have to. And that's when I explained to her, some traditions give and some traditions take, and some traditions change if they give or take, you know, year to year. And I was like, at this point, that's a tradition that takes, because it would take us out of the moment with Papa. It would add something that we don't need to add. It doesn't give us joy and life in this season of life any longer. It just kind of takes from us. And she was like, okay, well, can I read it to Annie when we get home if she's still awake? And I was like, yes. So that's a tradition that would give, because then she and you would have, you know, just a moment together, and that'd be something you'd remember, and you don't have to repeat it every year, but it's something fun you could do if you wanted to do that together. And just kind of like talking her through a lot of these things that she is disappointed in that we're no longer doing. It's just been interesting, because yeah, I could never have imagined getting to a point where we wouldn't be doing all the stuff, and where I wouldn't desire to be doing all this stuff anymore either. But so many things, like just our lives have changed so much in the past few years, but also this year specifically was just so heavy. And all of the social and political unrest, and all of the, you know, health things, and the pandemic things, and then personally, so many things in our life happened in 2020 that had nothing to do with the pandemic, but just maximized, you know, our discomfort in the year. Health situations with family members, and our church, and personal situations that were just difficult. Starting early on this year, all I just craved was Christ. It's just like, I just need Christ. I just need more Christ. Like, I just need more of Jesus, more of Jesus. And I just, you know, his burden being light and his yoke being easy, like in the chaos and the noise, that's all I wanted was just, okay, I just want to hear your still small voice. I just want to hear your still small voice. I didn't want to hear the rest of it. I didn't want to feel the rest of it. And coming into the Christmas season, my weariness kind of, you know, I still felt that way. And so I found a lot of joy in the celebration of just the anticipation of Christ and what he came for and what he will come for again, and just all of that, and just celebrating who he is and being our hope and our joy and our peace. So I never really would have seen myself getting to the point where the Christmas traditions, you know, our American Christmas traditions or whatever, you know, our modern day traditions would just not feel important to me anymore. I will say, years ago, I wished that I didn't love them so much. Something in me just kind of was wrestling with some of the traditions that we held up, and just feeling discouraged that I wasn't appreciating the Advent season a little more. But God works those things in his timing, and maybe that was like the first kind of hint of being convicted about things that carried me through years later to where I'm at now, but I couldn't have forced the feeling of appreciation of Advent on my own. So I don't know where I was going with that. I'm gonna drink a kombucha real quick. But yeah, I don't know. So it's been unique in me kind of finding that for myself, but also not forcing my daughter to be where I'm at either, because that's not how she's grown up. So it's been a unique season for sure. Anyway, I just saw the fly. All right, so the next thing that I have for John, I have 4 $25 gift cards to Bass Pro, which are not really stocking stuffers altogether, but I just decided to separate them into 4. There's something that he wants that he asked for. First of all, our closest Bass Pro is like an hour away, I think. And then also, I had already gotten him something for about the same price range under the tree. And so, yeah, so I couldn't get to Bass Pro on time, and I didn't want to change the thing I got him for under the tree. So I just decided I really still needed stocking stuffers, so I would just get 4 $25 gift cards and he could just go buy the thing himself. And the funny thing is, he totally knows that I'm getting him a Bass Pro card, because he was like, hey, what are we doing the day after Christmas? And I was like, oh, I think we're just gonna go have breakfast at my mom's because my brother will be in town. And he was like, oh, okay, I wanted to go to Bass Pro with Jonathan. I was like, why are you so sure that the day after Christmas you'll be going to Bass Pro? And he was like, oh, I'm not sure at all. I just, you know, thought it'd be a good time. Maybe there'll be some sales. I'm like, sure you did. Sure you did, Johnny. Has nothing to do with the fact that we share the same Amazon account, but either way, I'm wrapping it up anyway in case he really doesn't know. I thought it'd be fun though, maybe a little disappointing for him to open one and it just be the 25 when he told me the thing he wanted was $100. So I'm gonna like stagger them throughout his stocking, and maybe that'll help break it up a little bit. Anywho, so you guys let me know in the comments down below how you're feeling this Christmas season. I've really been, I don't want to keep talking about negative things. And again, like it's not necessarily negative in the way that I'm speaking about it, just being a different season. But I have really loved slowing down with the kids this year. I feel like I kind of saw their eyes a little more, like I looked in their faces a little more. We did some more puzzles. We played some more games. I actually watched the movies with them when we watched movies instead of using it as a moment to just zone out, which I'm super guilty of because I just don't like movies in general. And I am just going into the next couple of days feeling very fulfilled and enjoying this a lot. But at the same time, again, like I said earlier, just feeling unprepared because the chaos that usually marks these days seems to be what gets the attention. So it's like I am like going over in my head again and again, like, do I have everything I need for monkey bread? Yes, I do. Like, do I have all the gifts, you know, here to wrap? Yes, I do. Have we made the ornaments for the grandparents? Yes, we have. It's been it's just weird. Like, how have we done these things? But it's literally the chaos has made me feel confused. Anyway, I don't know. I as much as I dislike chaos, I do kind of thrive on it at the same time. So yeah, so that's been strange, but I really enjoyed doing Slow and Sacred Advent in our homeschool this year. We did not finish it fully. We finished, you know, we did something each week with it, but even making room for it, we still weren't able to complete it. So I'd be interested to hear if you guys finished it or did it this year, what you thought of it. What I decided to do partway through through Advent was to just focus on doing one handcraft in the recipe or both handcrafts and not the recipe. Doing 3 full things like that was just proving to be where I felt, you know, was the boundary line of it becoming a thing to do instead of something to do together. So that was, I'm glad we kind of recognized that early on, and that the kids weren't disappointed that we weren't completing it. So that was nice. And then we did more puzzles this year, which I really appreciated. Actually, I have a puzzle over there. Stinkin' John. I spent a day, it's a 1,000-piece puzzle, and I spent one day putting aside all of the end pieces. The kids worked on it a little bit. My friend Jenna was here that day, and she was like, when she caught a moment, would just sit there and sort through the puzzles a little, through the pieces a little bit. And so it probably all in all took about an hour to sort through the whole puzzle. And then at the end of that day, John cleaned up because Jenna's family came back that night, all as a family. So John was picking up the house, and I saw the puzzle box, and I was like, did you dump, because I just had like the lid on top of the puzzle, and the lid had the end pieces, and then the box had, the main part of the box had the rest. I was like, did you dump the end pieces into the puzzle? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, why would you do that? He was like, I don't know, I was just cleaning quickly. So I was able to pull them all out because they were just at the top. I did have to just resort a little bit. And so the day I pulled them out, the kids and I watched Home Alone 3, I think. And we just sat there and worked on the building the edge and a little bit of the inside. And I know it took the whole movie. So however long that movie is how long we worked on it. Then that night, one of my girlfriends had a wrapping party where we all just bring whatever we have left on our to-do list for Christmas to her house. We all bring an appetizer. It's just the four of us. We all bring an appetizer, and we go over at like 7 or 8 and just have coffee or tea and work on our stuff. So I brought all my stocking stuffers for my kids to wrap, and we just sat there and had a really sweet conversation. And I came home and I noticed that John had cleaned up again. And I was like, oh no, because John cleans like, I don't know, like it's almost like he just like takes his arms out and just like brings everything and puts it in a container. Like he doesn't like know where things go. So I walked in the house that night and everyone was sleeping, and I was happy because I had just spent time with my friends and I had had coffee. That's another story. But I walked in the door and I saw that the puzzle wasn't on the puzzle mat on the floor, and I was like, oh no. So it was the same day that we had done it. And I found the puzzle container and he had put it all away. And I was like, what is he thinking? Like twice? Like you don't destroy a puzzle. So that's not done yet. So I had had coffee that night and I sat up until 1:45 putting the puzzle back to where it was. And the next morning I was like, do not touch this puzzle. Please do not touch this puzzle. I want to get this puzzle done by Christmas. But the coffee story, we went over there and I was like trying to not drink coffee because nobody else was drinking coffee, but I get really tired by like 9:30. And so by like 9:30, I told my friend like, hey, I really hate to bother you, because she has a really like intricate coffee machine. And I was like, I really hate to bother you to like have you get up from your wrapping and make me a coffee. But I was like, the other alternative would be that I could just sleep on your couch tonight. So do you want to make me a coffee or do you want me to sleep over? And she was like, I'll make you a coffee. So by the time she made it and I put creamer in it, whatever, it was 10. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. We're gonna be here at least like another 2 hours, because last year I remember leaving her house at 1 a.m. Well, so I'm drinking it, and then at like 10:25, one of my girlfriends was like, all right, well, she had brought her little baby, and she's like, all right, well, I need to get Faith home. And then my other friend was like, yeah, I'll head out with you, because last year there was like a weird situation where we all got kind of like spooked by being out late, and there was like a car, and we were like, oh, we need to go. So, because we're all just teenage girls at heart who believe we're actually going to be like kidnapped still. I don't know. So I was like, wait, are you kidding me? Like I just drank a coffee, but I didn't want to be the last one who stayed. So I like quickly gathered all my stuff up and got out of her house. And she only lives like a mile from me. So I'm driving home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I just drank a coffee. Like there's no way I'm going to be able to go to sleep right now. So that's when I came home and saw the puzzle and stayed up till 1:45. All right, next I'm gonna wrap these separately. Thanks again to you guys in my trips to the hardware store post office. I found, there's a Yeti section at the hardware store, so I found him this Yeti Rambler 20-ounce tumbler. The reason I got him this is because I've gotten him a couple of larger Yetis to keep his stuff cold, like water for the summer, you know. but they don't fit in his cup holder, so I got him this for his cup holder. And then I also grabbed this, and I think I'm gonna wrap it separately because I bought it separately, so I want him to know it's 2 gifts. It's the handle for the tumbler, so it fits in there, so I think that'll be great. So I'm gonna wrap these separately, which this is gonna be weird to wrap, but anywho. I was gonna say, that reminded me of another story I wanted to share. Oh, yes. So you guys know I am an early to bed, early to rise kind of girl, but another lovely moment that marked our 2020 is that the day after Eli's birthday, which was like 2 days before Thanksgiving, I got up to go to the grocery store, and my car door was open, like not closed all the way, and I was like, that's so weird. Like, I can't believe I didn't shut my car door last night. And then John had said something to me that morning about how his truck door was open, and I was like, maybe the boys got into it to get something out or to play, because John has a truck, and then I have an SUV, and he has like a mud truck, which is very, I don't know, point of contention in our marriage. But anyway, it doesn't really lock. I mean, it locks, but then it's like so easy to jimmy open, so the boys know how to do that. And so I just thought maybe they were playing in it that morning because it was a nice day outside. And so when I noticed my car door was open, I was starting to ask him, like, John, did you have the kids? Because we had just gotten in from a trip the night prior, so we had been unloading the car kind of periodically. And so I was like, as I was saying, did you have the kids get something out of my car? I realized that it was no coincidence that his truck and my car were both open. So as I'm saying it, I'm like, oh no. And he's like running out the door like, what? And my car had been robbed, and they took one thing that was very high value, and that's all they took. They missed the cash in my car, everything else. I had left something in there because, again, we had just unpacked the night prior. Started unpacking the car, didn't lock it because I think I fell asleep rocking Annie down because we got in at like 11:30. John had been unloading the suitcases, and we left a bunch of stuff in the car. And so my car got robbed, and that was great. But anyway, our security system picked it up that it happened at like 5:15 in the morning, which is a very strange time, especially considering that John and I are usually up at that time, which kind of freaked me out. So I don't know. So I actually really struggled to sleep all through the Christmas season because I would be up late doing a little bit of shopping or like online, or, you know, working on puzzles or whatever. Just getting excited about Christmas. I did some of the decorating when the kids went to bed and stuff. And then it would be like 12:30 or 1, and then I would like start to think how close that is to the time that we got robbed, and then I would get freaked out. And it's actually really interesting because it was like a very non-threatening thing. Like, there was no aggression involved. You know, we obviously weren't there. We didn't see it happen. They didn't try to break into our house, which that happened when I was a kid. So I was just, you know, grateful. It's just our vehicles. But yet it was very unnerving that somebody was in our driveway. Like, we have a secure, like, it very, very alarming to me. And I would only feel that anxiety when it would be time to go to bed. And so that was not a comfortable feeling. So I ended up staying up late a lot, just because I would start to get overwhelmed when it was time to go to sleep. And then I made a lot of sleepy time tea and would drink some magnesium and be able to fall asleep. But then over time that caught up with me, and so I was actually sleeping in a lot during Christmas time. So I kind of like let my workout goals slip away a little and I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, you know what? I'm tired, I'm getting some rest. For the first time in my life, I'm waking up when my kids wake up instead of 2 hours before them. And I didn't hate it. Like, it kind of promoted like a very cozy atmosphere. I'm very much looking forward to getting back to my normal 5 a.m. routine when we start school back up in January, but it kind of just was the weird right timing for us to just take a month off of our normal, which I don't advocate for ever. And I almost hate that I'm doing it right now, but I just really enjoyed waking up a little later. So we just kind of shifted. There's the fly. Well, I'll show you what I'm wrapping next. I got John this book called Forever Island by Patrick D. Smith, or just Patrick Smith, I guess. This is the author of A Land Remembered, and if you live in Florida or you like Florida or you just want to read a really great Florida story, A Land Remembered is a great book. He really likes Patrick Smith and his writing, and so I got this book because he doesn't have this one yet. John is a big history lover, Florida history lover specifically, and so this one is this one's set down in the Everglades, and so I thought he would really like this. But anyway, so why did I say that? Why was I saying that? We just stayed up late a lot. We slept in. We really just had a very slow holiday season, and I really enjoyed it. But I'm very much looking forward to setting an alarm again and feeling like a human, because it's weird. Like when I wake up late, it then takes me like 4 hours to actually get moving instead of like 30 minutes. So we'd wake up at like 7:30 and then it'd be like 10:30 and I'm like, okay, we need to get dressed now. So anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm gonna just finish wrap. I'll just show you real quick what else I'm wrapping. I got him a magnetic wristband for tools. I don't think he has this yet. A couple of like beard and hair things, not so crazy exciting. A car vacuum because his car, this is just like a little nudge from me, like, hey, if you have this, maybe you can vacuum your car. And then I got him a couple of books from a couple of Florida artists that he loves. Highwaymen, most of you guys probably know who they are. And then A.E. Backus is an artist that he really, really loves. And so there is a museum not too far from me. I did end up shipping it because I wasn't that way, but I got him something from the museum gift shop. So, oh, and then you guys are sitting on a battery caddy. Lame gifts this year, nothing crazy exciting. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good Christmas. It's been a unique year. I think one where the message of Advent, which is hope, is really prevalent and important. Somebody around us got a leaf blower for Christmas, maybe. And so I just kind of wanted to leave you with a thought that I've been thinking lately. The other night I was just having a difficult evening and I just went for a drive. We almost lost a couple of loved ones this year. John and I both ended up having the privilege of being caretakers for a parent this year, which I say is a privilege not because they were in the situation, but because we live near to them and we really appreciated being able to serve them. But it kind of caught up with me, the fact that we potentially could have faced this Christmas season without without a parent each. Also, we did lose my grandfather at the beginning of this year, and just kind of all the disappointment was really hitting me. And I was driving around and I was like, you know what, God, I'm just gonna be your kid for a minute. I just kept driving. I didn't have the kids in the car with me for once, and I was just looking at Christmas lights and I just wanted to enjoy the lights. So I started looking for nativities, which is something that I love to do at Christmas, and praying. And the Lord just reminded me that disappointment is nothing new at Christmas. Just because it's 2020 and so many more of us are disappointed, doesn't mean that the idea of being disappointed is any different than any other year. I think it's just not as many of us disappointed all at once. And the reason that the holidays really maximize our disappointment and discouragement is because we were not made to find our value in the things of this world. And this is definitely a year where we are all recognizing that we were made for something more, and we are loved by something more than we can experience here on this earth. Although we do get a glimpse of it, especially through the message of the nativity. So how does a baby that was born 2,000 years ago relate to us today in this really disappointing year? What I was really kind of talking to God about that night was just the whole story of the manger, like a corrupt government, indifferent religious leaders, people who didn't even recognize their Messiah, you know, believers who didn't even recognize their Messiah. And it resonates with me how much our lives are like that today, and how much I might not recognize that myself, being caught up in the things of this world. You know, we all judge the story, right? How could they not even recognize that that was Jesus that came to die on a cross? Like, how could they not even recognize that was their Messiah? Because it's so easy to not when we're finding fulfillment or searching for hope in other places. So the story of Christmas is a story of hope. It's a story of hope that relates to today, especially in 2020. I am praying that you guys, through your discouragement and disappointment about this year, have been able to even taste or experience a glimpse of what the hope of the gospel really means. I pray that you guys are able to really seek that out a little more intentionally now because of a year that was difficult. And I am praying that you guys are able to be the light that shines that message to others through experiencing it yourself. So thank you for hanging out with me today. Thank you for keeping my spirits high this December. It's definitely been one to remember. I'm looking forward to next December looking a little different, but who knows? But ultimately, the one thing that never changes didn't change this year. So praying for you guys. I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in Monday's vlog. Bye guys, and bye to my neighbor and his go-kart, not leaf blower. Oh my goodness, I am just cleaning up, and I realized that there are still a couple things that I forgot about. I knew I had gotten him something slightly intentional for his stocking, so I got him these 2 Chosen devotionals, and then I got the kids the Chosen book. But I knew I had forgotten something. I'm like, man, I really can't believe I got him all like gizmos and gadgets. No, I got the Chosen devotionals. So there we go. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't even put anything like remotely spiritual, like nothing with a Bible verse, nothing. There it is. Check the box. Done. Okay, Merry Christmas, guys. I had to throw that in there.